shall we have a wee chat?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't really know how to introduce you because you're just like a man of many talents.
That's go with that.
Fair enough. I'm gonna keep that in.
A man of many talents, none of which I'm very adept at.
But yeah, I'm joined with David Sneddon, who is a very good friend. I think we've written quite a lot of songs together. We've been to Sweden together on a wee trip, and I think you just kind of made the start of my musical journey very special. Wolves was the first song we wrote together, which was like summer 2017. So I sang Wolves in the semi-final of X Factor. Did you come to that, or did you come to the tour?
No, I came to the tour. I saw you do it on tour. Because we wrote we wrote Wolves while you were in the process of all that madness, which was kind of, I suppose, was interesting because I've done something similar. So I remember like when you came in and it was like, oh well, you know, were you doing Judges' Houses when we did?
Yeah, it was just before. So we were at Anu's studio in London, and I remember it was just before Judges' Houses because Sharon rang me when we were in the session.
That's right.
It sat there. I'd like never met either of you before, and I was like, Sharon, everyone's ringing me. She's ringing me.
I was like, you better take it.
Oh, so funny. But yeah, that was just before Judges' Houses, and I'd only ever written by myself before then. So I think you were probably either the first or second co-writing session I've ever had in my life.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But because I'd just written everything else before, and then I was like, okay, I really didn't expect to get this far in the show, so I think I'm gonna need more songs. And I feel like that song changed a lot of shit for me as well, because I was kind of known as like a sad piano queen. And then I was like, all right then, I'm gonna give you all a banger, here we go.
But I remember because we knew, I think when we said let's work, obviously you weren't on the show, so all we had been sent was, we had Roots, so we'd been sent Roots and obviously tune. So I think at that point me and Anu were just like, well, you know, it wouldn't have mattered to us how'd you go on or not, because we were like, well, that song is so good, it's at least worth having a go. And it's funny that I think on the day that we wrote, that first day when you came in and we got Wolves on the go, it was so weird that Sharon called on that day, because it was almost like it then opened up, you know, the conversation, you know, because I don't really talk about what I've done a lot.
I wish you would more. I wish you would.
It's funny, I guess over the years, I definitely, when I'm you know, I see myself as a songwriter. That's it. All the Fame Academy stuff back in the day almost feels like another life. It feels like another person. So when I'm writing, more often than not anyway, now as a writer, the thing I'm known for most is Lana Del Rey. So the first thing people do is say, so what's Lana Del Rey like? And I'm like, oh, it's kind of cool that it's not what Fame Academy like, it's always that. But it was interesting with that, because obviously Sharon had called you, and there was a real thought about, oh, I might go on this show. It was just fun. I was able to relate to. I remember what that was like, albeit a long time ago. but I remember the feeling of it, and I remember how obscure and strange and scary the whole process was. So it was nice that at least I was able to kind of, I hope I didn't freak you out about it.
No, I think it made me feel a lot safer knowing that someone else had been through that, and we had that little bond as well, because it was like, oh, we both went on TV shows and sang our own stuff as well, because you did that and you won with your own song. And obviously just did amazing things with that show and afterwards. And just looking at someone who's done such amazing things in their career, knowing that they took that same path that I was in there and then, I was like, fucking great. Like, that's something to look up to.
Well, I think I do. I remember saying this to you, and I've worked with other people who've gone through shows, and the one thing that I think the main thing I can always say about it is that it doesn't matter how dismissive people can be of reality TV, which, let's be honest, they are. You know, you can. I remember reading stories about myself every day that were so untrue, like stuff that almost dismissed the music side. It was just more about celebrity and all that sort of culture. But the one thing I remember is that if you go on those shows, you can sing, and more often than not, the people who you don't realise can write they can write. So I always think to be dismissive of contestants of shows is incredibly short-sighted. And I've met so many people who've come through those shows who are sensational songwriters, and obviously you're very much included in that. So I just think whenever I meet people, and it's like, even if you don't want to, like someone like me who didn't want to maintain celebrity, I just didn't enjoy it. I was like, well, okay, I can write songs, and I still feel like that about people who come through those shows. It's like, if you can write, then why not? Why wouldn't you do it? So yeah, I'm glad that I was your songwriting virgin. That's good. Oh, by the way, could I be more Scottish?
Oh my word! You're just stereotypical Scottish there.
I won't show you my kilt.
No, I'm good for that. But yeah, I just think that song in particular as well, we had such fun writing it because it is a fun song. I remember coming up with the like, woohoo, and just being sat there, yeah, this is great, we're on a roll. Yeah. And like, so many people love that song, and obviously getting to perform it afterwards, it's the one in my set that I'm always like, I know that I'm going to have so much fun with this song.
Well, you could even when I mean, it's funny, I considering I've gone through those shows, probably that means I don't enjoy watching them just because it brings it all back. So I've never really watched X Factor. But obviously after I met you, I was like, right, okay, gotta watch it. And it was so obvious on the night that you did Wolves. It was so obvious that you enjoyed it. Like, because it was just something else, you know?
She said, you better turn a line, keep in the dark of day, better keep alive, chasing the wolves away. You better turn a line, keep in the dark of day. Whoa, you gotta keep alive. If I had it all.
And I think that apart from anything else, sometimes you just know you've written a good one. And I think when we wrote Wolves, it was like, yeah, that's a good one. You just know sometimes. So I'm glad it made it onto the show. For me, it was 10 weeks on that show. You experience those 10 weeks, then life changes, and you get to go and do an arena tour, like in front of 10,000 people every night. Like, to then come off the back of that and go back to being a writer again and sort of trying to figure out, right, now what do I do? You know, for you, it's like, okay, now I need to write an album. For me, it was like, fuck, I just want to be a writer. It's a very hard thing to adjust to, having done all that. Did you find that when you sat down especially after the tour, and you're like, okay, now I need to write, was that difficult? Was that?
Yeah. I mean, I always say this, I've been on stage since I was 3, and I think, although I kind of taught myself, I don't know, you can really teach yourself how to write, but like, I always said to myself, okay, I need to learn how to write songs because I want to be on stage and I want to sing them. And so performing was always like my happy place and what I've always done and what I was used to. And so going off the tour and like, this is all I've ever wanted to do, like, shit, I've just done Wembley Arena. And then someone locking you in a room for 2 years, you're like, oh my God. And it just made me question everything. Like, probably end of 2019, like, even when I knew I was going to have music out soon, I was like, I'm not sure if I want to do this anymore. like going through that TV experience and being plummeted into the spotlight and just having to adjust to this new life and then go back is something I can never explain to someone that hasn't been through it. And obviously you will completely understand that. Like Fame Academy, I remember watching it, and I know that every time I post anything that I've been writing with you, people are like, oh my God, David Sneddon! Like, it's sick.
Oh, it was dead. Where's he been?
Oh my God. But how do you like that people just sort of think that because you do have a major career in music, but
I love it.
Yeah, you didn't want the spotlight anymore, right?
No, I made a very precise decision, and quite, I suppose you could call it calculated. I chose from about, so let's say if my single after Fame Academy was out in the January, by the September, so only 9 months later, I had decided, oh God, I hate it. I hated, and it wasn't music, and it wasn't, I actually loved Fame Academy. I loved doing it, and I loved the experience, and couldn't stand being famous. It just, and you don't know you're going to hate that until it happens to you. And I always explain to people who ask me about this, the sort of stuff that we've done. When you're on a primetime show, it's like hyper fame. It's like people, for me, there was like 9 million people watched Fame Academy on a Friday night, and all of those people then know who you are. So I found it so difficult. But at the same time, I still adored music. I still adored writing and singing and playing. And I didn't even really know. I was so green when I came down to London from Glasgow. I didn't even know songwriting was a career. Like, I didn't know you could be a professional songwriter. I thought you had to be in a band or something like that. So it was actually my publisher at the time who said, well, you like writing, why don't you try? And from that point onwards, it was like, that was it for me. And so I have turned down, I mean, the amount of stuff I've been offered over the years, from interviews to reality shows to, you know,
I can imagine.
I mean, I got asked 1 year if I wanted to do that fucking ice dancing thing. I was like,
no way! Dancing on ice!
I get, yeah, but again, imagine I'd been gone for 10 years and then all of a sudden the first time people sees me, like Bambi. Like, nah.
Oh, that's great.
But I love, it's funny, I like talking about music and I love talking about songwriting, but I don't think I could ever go back to, you know, really that being famous. It's just not really for me.
We had this conversation, I think, the last time we wrote together. You were like, Grace, I've been thinking about making an Instagram account. And I was like, no, not David on socials, surely not. But
yes,
you've done that now, and
yes,
you've released music, right?
So what I'm doing, well, not really. I've written music for myself, based entirely on. It started because I had my first kid. I had a little boy in 2016, and then wrote this song about, because the night he was born was so traumatic as an experience that I just sort of sat down one morning, I think out of panic and fear, and wrote this song. And it was so, at the time I was making, I spent a lot of time working with Mika on his latest record, and I'd spent so much time working with him. I was like, I can't give a song about my premature kid to Mika. He's not going to want to sing it. In fact, I know he's so funny. I know he would look at me like this. I know what he's like. So it was my manager who said, well, why don't you just record it as like, to have as a demo? Mm-hmm. So my Instagram account, I'm now one of the most popular people on Instagram. I've got 500 followers, which I think puts me on a par with, like, I
would say you're breaking records there.
I mean, I'm basically a Kardashian. So, but it's purely for it's like I'm writing songs like that, like to then put on Instagram so that my mum knows that I'm still about and still kind of doing stuff. Again, I've got no grand plan with it. I'm just I'm writing and it's for fun, which I haven't done for a long time for myself. You know, usually I write for other people, so it's purely for fun and my own enjoyment. But yeah, even having Instagram is weird. Some of the messages I get from people, like direct messages.
I can only imagine. The hardcore David Sneddon fans from Fame Academy era are just thriving.
But the weird thing is, sometimes it's not even that. Sometimes it's genuinely not even people who follow me. I'll get messages from people who probably one day that song, maybe the song will pop into their head, so they might Google it and it will take them straight to my Instagram account. And the things they decide to write to me in there, I find highly inappropriate.